we are excited to kick off a new webinar series in 2026 entitled Excellence in High Performance Building, from Transparency to Performance, specifying healthier, lower impact materials that perform. And the first in this series is Tight, Dry, and Durable Building Envelope Excellence, and why you're going to want the products from all of these manufacturers in your projects and libraries. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to add them. We have a really great slate of presenters here today from W.R. Meadows, Knight Wall Systems, Owens Corning, and I'm Terry Swack, the founder and CEO of Sustainable Minds, who will be moderating this session. So again, this is the kickoff webinar to the series, Excellence in High Performance Building. And I'm going to guess that many of you who are attending the webinar today have attended one of our webinars in the past. Since 2019, we've produced over 65 webinars in the series, Transparency is the New Green, where our focus has been on showing the manufacturers and their products who have invested in EPDs and material disclosures to talk about why, for each manufacturer to tell their story about why they're investing in transparency, what they'd learned from it, what documents they have for each product. But today in 2016, transparency has become so mainstream, we'll say, that it's now time to shift the focus back to the actual product performance. Because if we look at high performance building, innovative high performance materials must be high performing from a functional perspective. They need to be safe. They need to be able to report the environmental performance and the material health. And these attributes of high performance building need documentation to support those claims. And so today we're flipping the switch on the story and focusing on these high performance innovative materials that address current issues in the built environment. And of course, all of the products that the manufacturers will be talking about today have transparency information, which you can find in the transparency catalog. So this is a quick snapshot of the series. We'll be announcing it more formally in the coming week or two as we just wrap up some of the scheduling with some of the manufacturers. But you can see, we think the topics are pretty exciting. High traffic areas, quiet and comfortable, renovation ready. These are all topical topics that people want to learn about. And you're going to hear the stories from these leading manufacturers who are making products for just this purpose. So for those of you who are new to Sustainable Minds, we are the only end-to-end product transparency solutions provider in the market today for high-performance building material manufacturers in the design and construction industry. We are a PCR and EPD program operator. What makes us different is that we're focused on developing understandable, meaningful, reliable, and easy to use environmental performance and material health reporting. We deliver technical services, LCA, material ingredient assessment, and we have innovative digital tools to get products into projects to transform the built environment. So part of what gives us a unique perspective being a program operator is that we look at all of the work to develop the transparency documents to be in service of creating marketing materials. These technical documents help manufacturers get products into projects and help building professionals make decisions based on real comparative data. And so our focus is helping those industry professionals who care about high performance products to find them in the transparency catalog, be able to make decisions based on the data that's being presented in the documents, and then get those products into projects and libraries using our new application that sits alongside the transparency catalog called Project Builder and Library. So literally we are end to end from the very beginning of creating the rules all the way through getting products into projects. We say to manufacturers that work with us on your entire product transparency journey or just the parts that you need. So typically we'll work with industry associations on PCRs, but just as frequently a manufacturer who has the need for a PCR, but one doesn't exist, they will step up and lead the development of a PCR. But equally important, if a manufacturer has transparency information, is the delivery system that puts those products with transparency documents in front of the industry that is looking for those products with that documentation. The transparency catalog makes your products with those transparency documents findable and actionable so that the data drives the specification. And I want to give a special shout out. We just added the checkbox in the table today to W.R. Meadows, who led the development of the water resistive and air barriers PCR that was published Friday. So we started in December, published Friday. That's pretty typical, 5 months to get a PCR completed in our neck of the woods. Many program operators are not as efficient in the way they run the PCR committee. And now W.R. Meadows can finish their LCAs and EPDs because now the PCR that they needed is available. So quickly, a little bit about the transparency catalog. You're going to find every building product manufacturer anywhere in the world making products for the North American market who've invested in EPDs, material disclosures, and low emitting certificates. We handle the data differently than other product data platforms because we have that technical knowledge. And we believe that it's critical to make the information easy to understand and use to make decisions, not just easy to find. So in the interface of the transparency catalog, people can filter and sort by master format, division, section, carbon intensity, EPD type, whether it's industry average, product specific, or optimized. We have similar filters for all the material ingredient disclosures, a lot of attributes about HPDs. If you're looking for declare or any other material disclosure, you can filter again by result. And you can see all that data in the interface that what you filtered on, you get the confirming result in the interface. In the last year, an organization called Mindful Materials released a new version excuse me, of the Common Materials Framework, which is a framework where a whole working group over the course of several years organized transparency documents and sustainability documents into a framework that organized each type of document into a category of reporting on climate, health, equity, circularity, and ecosystem health. And what they were very successful at doing was getting the rating systems, both the AA Materials Pledge, which is actually where the CMF was incubated, but getting LEED and WELL and several others to adopt using the CMF in the reporting criteria. And so what we've done in the transparency catalog is we have integrated that CMF to automate its use so that all of the EPDs, material disclosures, and low emitting certificates are tagged with the impact areas that they contribute to, so that when users are using Project Builder and Library and adding products to a project, we have now automated reporting, both material pledge and all of the LEED material credits and low emitting credits, like literally automating the flow of data into a project and into these reporting real-time status reports, so project teams can keep track of how they're doing on a project, contributing to each of these rating systems or reporting rubrics through the contribution of the documents associated with each product. So the manufacturers that you're going to hear from today all have listings in the transparency catalog, a digital product data platform. All of their documentation is tagged with the CMF information. So all of it can flow into projects and into the reporting criteria. You're going to see all of them have EPDs and material disclosures. All of them are high performing. Both WR Meadows and Night Wall Systems, we are their program operator. We did their LCA work, published their EPDs. And with Owens Corning, who is actually the #1 most viewed brand out of over 2,300 in the catalog, and there might be something to the fact that they have hundreds and hundreds of products and transparency documents in the catalog. They are really great at having EPDs and material disclosures and low emitting certificates for all of the products, all of their innovative products. And you're going to hear from Tiff today about this one specifically as their foamular product. So with that introduction, and if we have time at the end, I'm going to show you a very quick demo in Project Builder and Library of how quickly you can add their products to a project and see the results in the reporting templates. So Kim, I'm going to ask you to kick things off.
Thank you. Good morning and welcome. First, my name is Isaac Sorensen. I'm the National Architectural Sales Manager with WR Meadows, and I'm joined today by my colleague, our Sustainability Manager, Kimberly Lombardozzi.
Hello, everyone.
And you can see from this slide that we are representing WR Meadows, a 100-year-old American family-owned fourth-generation private business. And underneath those logos that are present there would be our subsidiary brands that WR Meadows owns and operates. On the second slide here, you can see that we're 100 years old this year, celebrating our centennial and our founding in 1926. We're designers, manufacturers, and marketers of high-quality building materials, serving construction professionals across a wide range of applications. We have 350 products over 5 architectural divisions, and we provide architectural and engineering support as well. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about our building envelope products, the most notable of our products that fall into Division 7 and Division 3, and these products do represent some of our best-selling products. So on this slide, you can see our locations across North America, our headquarters there in the center of the country, and the yellow locations indicating our manufacturing plants strategically located across the United States and Canada. So today we're going to be talking about these 3 different products, Liquihard Ultra, Melroll, and Precon. Again, some of our best-selling products. And when we're talking about the building envelope, it's important to understand that you can't design a sustainable, strong, durable, and resilient building envelope without understanding the ways in which all of the 6 sides of the building connect. The products and systems that are put in place to create the 4 control layers, which are air, water, vapor, and thermal control, all need to integrate seamlessly to create long-term performance of the building. And the ways in which those materials interface with each other on all 6 sides becomes integral to sustainable and long-term success within the built environment. We'll see in the next slide, our first product we're going to talk about. This is Liquihard Ultra. Liquihard Ultra is a molecular concrete densifier and chemical hardener. Its functional performance is part of the EnduroShine system, or our polished concrete system, and it deeply penetrates into the surface of concrete to densify and harden the concrete. It's an easy, hassle-free product, and historically products like this in the surface hardening and densification family, like sodium silicates and older densification technology, needed the use of a ton of water in order to create a seamless application. With today's products like Liquihard Ultra, we use lithium silicates, and the product itself does not need to be rinsed off with copious amounts of water in order to perform. And in fact, no water at all is necessary. This product has also been performing very well on Type 1L cement used in modern low-carbon data centers and large concrete slabs. It was chosen because of its sustainability attributes and performance for the Governor's Island Climate Exchange campus in New York City. At the bottom of the screen, you can see a snapshot of some of the other applicable places for Liquihard Ultra applications. Again, to review the product, we've removed all of the necessity for rinsing in order to apply and densify the concrete correctly, so it penetrates progressively. It chemically solidifies and reacts and produces chemically densified and hardened concrete, creating more CSH, or calcium silicate hydrate, with the compound and building block in concrete. And it creates that in the capillary pores, plugging those pores up and densifying those, making the concrete more abrasion and stain resistant over time, also assisting in the polishing process. The next slide here, Kimberly's going to talk about our Liquihard Ultra environmental performance.
So for Liquihard Ultra, the EPD preliminary results are in, and regional manufacturing and local sourcing of materials shows that these factors are reducing our environmental impact on product stage module A2, the transportation of raw materials. This product also has 0 grams per liter VOC content and is part of our water-based construction liquids collection called Green Line, which launched in about 1980. Today, it's grown to include 50 plus user-friendly products. The product also has CDPH VOC emission testing. It has LBC Red List. It's made in the United States and Canada. It's Buy America, Build America compliant, has no intentionally added asbestos, phthalates, or PFAS, and many of these environmental data points are also shared with other products that we're going to cover today.
So moving along to our next product, Precon. Precon is a pre-applied underslab and blindside waterproofing membrane and is an incredibly versatile membrane, being able to be applied both vertically and horizontally. It can also be folded at 180 degrees on itself and tucked into concrete forms for seamless integration with post-applied peel and stick waterproofing as an ancillary part of a full waterproofing system. The Precon is unique in that it is both a waterproofing, vaporproofing, and in some cases brownfield barrier. The gas coefficients and water vapor transmission rates are the lowest on the market today. It's a tough, durable product that has some fantastic sustainability attributes. And in this next slide, Kimberly's going to go over the environmental performance of the product.
So you can see the slide on the left-hand side. The product can also be installed 360 degrees, so it's pretty incredible. EPDs are on their way for Q3 of 2026, and again, this has many of the same environmental data points as Liquihard Ultra.
So as you saw in the last slide, the Precon is a fantastic shotcrete product as well. Can be both laid circularly, vertically, and horizontally. Our next product here, Melroll, a peel and stick post-applied waterproofing product, exceeds most test requirements for waterproofing conditions. It has a higher success rate than fluid-applied applications, and it provides a cost-effective, flexible, versatile, and dependable positive side protection. It's very easy to install. In the project shown here, you can see this is a helicopter pad in the state of Minnesota on the top of a hospital. Not an easy project or project conditions to apply such a product like Melroll, but Melroll was chosen for ease of application and the versatility in ability to be applied in challenging conditions. And now Kimberly's going to go over the environmental performance.
So in considering Melroll and its EPD, we're going to look at the snapshot from the EC3 tool, which is in the center of the slide. The dark green box on the left shows the kilograms of CO2 emission range for EPDs in this category, which range on the low end. If you can really squint your eyes a little bit, you can see it's about 2.2 to a high of around 5. The light green box on the right shows Melroll at 1.85, which is below the purple EC3 baseline and below all the other EPDs in this category of materials. So outstanding carbon story with that product. It also has similar environmental data points as the other products we just talked about.
So now on to our case study. The case study which we're discussing today is in Mobile, Alabama, a U.S. Airbus manufacturing plant. It's a 700,000 square foot facility with miles and miles of tunnels for the assembly line of the factory itself. This project was completed in a very high hydrostatic condition, all below the water table, and we were surprised to learn that Seattle is not, in fact, the soggiest city in the United States, but that distinction apparently goes to Mobile, Alabama, with 67 inches of annual rainfall. The Melroll and Precon products were chosen for this project because of their robustness and ease of application. You can see here in the next slide some of the tunnel portion of the project. The Precon was laid down as a pre-applied membrane before the final concrete pour for the floors of the tunnels. beneath the slab and also pointing all of the pile caps for the structural elements of the building. There were significant challenges related to the groundwater, as I've mentioned, and with miles of tunnels 15 feet underground. The contractor chose pre-con and Melroll as a simple solution. It's resilient in the face of wet site conditions and still maintains its integrity and ease of application. You can see here again in this slide how the Melroll was applied after the horizontal portion or bottom portion of the tunnel was cast. The Melroll was then applied after the site casting of the concrete walls. And in the next slide, you can see here the way that Melroll is integrated into the vertical portion after the pre-con is in place. They seam together quite easily. The miles of tunnels were appointed with our pre-con and Melroll. In this next slide, you can see here again some nice statements from the contractor, Gil Roberts, president of Service Construction Supply, about the ease of application of these systems. He says, "I can't think of a company more relationship oriented. They worked with our salespeople, their response time on issues, their engineering help, getting us what we needed for submittals and approvals, and their ability to work with our contractor customer base made Meadows one very, very sound company." So thank you to Service Construction Supply, and I'll let Kimberly round out the presentation with the last few slides.
Isaac, well said. What a great project. And I now know that Mobile, Alabama claims to be the sockiest city in the United States. So we make our products more sustainable by manufacturing in North America, domestically sourcing materials that lowers our transportation impact. This also supports local economies, creates efficient logistics, and improves quality control. We also embed continuous improvement into our daily work. Supervisors lead overall equipment effectiveness efforts, which help reduce energy consumption, improve efficiency, minimize delays, and this leads to processes that run more smoothly, reduce errors and waste, and ensures higher quality products. Our products are built to perform and designed to sustain. We are a North American family-owned company, which will be here for the long term. We've been delivering building materials that protect the building envelope and that contractors already know and trust. Today, we reviewed the following products that have a track record and are providing performance in the building envelope. Liquihard Ultra exceeds contract service life and does not require a water rinse like other products might. Melroll provides flexible waterproofing protection and has one of the lowest carbon footprints for products in its category. Pre-con delivers dual functioning underslab and blindside waterproofing, outperforming more rigid-based alternatives. Local materials and manufacturing lower our carbon footprint. Additionally, the OEE metrics help with continuous improvement and improve our sustainability and high-quality products. We invite you to partner with a company that's been trusted for over a century, and thank you for allowing us to share our story with you.
Well, thanks, you guys. Those are some amazing pictures and an amazing story. I do want to mention for everybody on the webinar that after the webinar, there will be some questions, a little survey, if you don't mind leaving some of your thoughts about the webinar. You will get an email in the next couple of days with a recording of this webinar. And if you would like a copy of the deck, you can request that as well. If you have any questions for any of the presenters or for us during the webinar, please put them in the chat panel, and either we'll get them answered during the webinar or the appropriate person will follow up with you and get your question answered. So moving on to night wall systems, Travis, take it away.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Terry and WR Meadows gang for kicking us off. My name's Travis Cacciatori. I'm the National Sales Manager for Night Wall Systems. I lead our outside sales team, which consists of Night Wall regional managers and 20 independent sales agents across the United States. I've been in the building envelope space for 25 years, feels like 25 years. So with some of the companies listed here, and I've had many different positions: architectural, sales leadership, and so forth. I currently reside in Northern Virginia with my wife and daughter, but I was born and raised in Central Illinois, so I'm kind of a Midwest boy and with East Coast roots. So today I want to talk a little bit about night wall systems and our products and services. We're located in Deer Park, Washington, just north of Spokane, Washington, and much like WR Meadows, we're family owned also. Doug Knight is our president, and he and his brother help run the business. We're essentially an engineering and manufacturer of thermally broken steel facade subframing since 2010. We go to market directly to the purchaser. In other words, there's no distribution or no dealer involved. Straight to the project. With our numerous engineering staff and manufacturing capabilities, our value to the architect and contractor is to provide an engineered facade with high quality material for your project. We believe that every project deserves to be engineered and designed, so we don't just send span charts or documents to help you figure that out. We figure that out with you and for you. We work with all types of insulations and air barriers, water barriers, facade panels. If you're designing a rain screen wall assembly, we can help you. In addition to working with the different product manufacturers and wall products we ship across the United States and Canada, we work primarily in commercial construction, but have done residential and are on projects from your local grade school to international airports. And you can find us in master format in Division 7 0543 for cladding support systems, or 072180 in cladding attachment and continuous insulation. Our strength and performance is to the built environment is to leverage the use of ZAM steel. ZAM stands for zinc, aluminum, magnesium, and is the second highest corrosion resistant steel next to stainless steel. And although you give up a little bit of corrosion resistance with ZAM, you gain in strength compared to stainless. Stainless is superior, of course, but it's a little weaker than a high carbon steel like ZAM. ZAM steel is used in many other building products, roofing, flashings, as well as the automotive industry, so it's widely known. And in addition to ZAM, we incorporate a thermal break, and you see that in the illustration there, that red plastic thermal break in the MFI bracket. We'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it ensures that no exterior metal is bridging to the structural wall. You'll notice punches or holes in our products. Those are punched for the installer for ease of installation and offer ventilation and drain ability for the wall. Plus, our products are capable of being installed vertically or horizontally, depending on your facade panel layout, offering complete wall assembly design flexibility. Some of our solutions offer as much as 98 thermal efficiency of the wall, mitigating energy loss. And lastly, importantly, using steel as a substrate offers a non-combustible solution. All of the solutions I talk about today do not add to the wall assembly's combustibility, again, allowing complete design flexibility. And all of our raw materials are sourced from the United States and are fully compliant with the Build America, Buy America Act. CI and HCI have been around the longest in our product portfolio. CI on the left is essentially a C channel, and HCI on the right is the horizontal hat channel. Both are true continuous insulation solutions in that the girt, or what you see there, C girt or the H channel framing does not penetrate the insulation layer, offering a very high effective R value rating, up to 98% from the last slide. So according to ASHRAE, right, 90.1, this meets the definition of a true continuous insulated system. We do take into account the fasteners that penetrate through the insulation and offer thermally broken fastener also. Everything is accounted for in calculating thermal loss and thermal modeling. Each solution can be used with many types of insulation, from rigid foam, all the different types of rigid foam. You'll hear about that later with TIF, to mineral wool, and the different types of cladding. Thermazy is our newest product solution. It's the first thermally improved steel Z-girt. It's the most popular because of its familiarity and ease of installation. It can be sized to the thickness of the insulation or oversized to provide an air cavity. It works with different insulation types and cladding types. And I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about Therma-Z in the next couple of slides. This is MFI. MFI stands for mineral fiber insulation and is designed to be used in wall assemblies where you can design with mineral wool. MFI is a typical bracket and rail solution that has superior strength and spacing capabilities. Again, you'll notice the punches in thermal break material in red, designed and engineered to provide up to 3/4 of an inch of adjustability. And the punches are there to reduce thermal mass. This can be spaced up to 48 inches on center with the adjustable rail on the end. So everything sits outside of that insulative layer minus the bracket to reduce, again, thermal mass in the insulative layer and provide high energy efficiency. In addition to the prior 4 solutions I discussed, we offer secondary rails in the form of a panel rail and a reveal rail. These rail shapes are to assist the installer and provide a complete finished system versus leaving the installer to fabricate a rail in the field, an L rail or a hat channel in the field. This ensures a consistent material finish and warranty. These rails are also made of ZAM and are perforated to offer ease of installation and drainability through the wall assembly. So here I wanted to spend a little bit more time on Therma-Z. It's our most popular product solution. Let me go back one here. I don't know what happened. It's our most popular product solution. You'll see the web of the Z-girt's missing a lot of material. It's been punched. This is by design. This allows water to drain through the insulation plane as well as reduce thermal mass, which helps a great deal in its thermal efficiency. You'll also notice the small triangle cutouts in the bridge of the Z-girt. These help with thermal efficiency, actually up to 5%, so a huge benefit. In addition to the thermal break on the back side, you'll notice that the Z-girt, where the Z-girt attaches to the wall, and the holes on the leg of the Z-girt that attaches to the wall have a hole every inch. That allows the installer to run the screw through the Z-girt versus having to plow through steel all day long. So again, we're trying to help mitigate installation and installation errors. And that also helps in making sure the fasteners are attached in the right place across the length of the Z-girt. So all of these little design details add up to a high-performing Z-girt compared to a regular Z-girt you can make in the field or something you can fabricate in a shop with a shim. So these strategy and design cues are also incorporated into other product offerings we offer. This is a really nice case study. This is Siemens Griswold Environmental Hall in Chestertown, Maryland. Ayers St. Gris designed with Whiting Turner and built this project with our MFI bracket and rail. It's home of the Washington College's Center for Environment and Society. The facility sits right on the Chester River in Maryland. And the river is the living laboratory that provides students with an experience to support the building's programs in environmental science and sustainability. The building is designed to operate at net positive energy and meet the holistic standards of the Living Building Challenge PETAL certification. It's expected to produce 105% of its energy needs on site, utilizing rooftop PV panels and ground source geothermal heating and cooling systems. Freshwater piping brings the river water directly into the building for its laboratories and scientific research. It's, of course, inspired by biophilic design. The building celebrates daylight with the south clear story and connections to the riverfront landscape. So outdoor porches and walkways and incorporate architectural details displayed in the building's cedar siding. So you see that there on the photograph. in summation, we're committed to providing a transparent solution that does no harm, and in concert with our company's values and being the leader in cladding attachment for the wall. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Travis. That was a great story and beautiful products. Tiffany, we're going to ask you to close it up with Owens Corning.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And just wanted to express how excited I am to be here and working with these other great companies as well. Our insulation has been used with both companies, so really cool to see everything coming together. A lot of people are familiar with Owens Corning. We're commonly referred to as the Pink Panther. And if you're ever at trivia night, one of the things you might remember is that that came about in the 1980s with our fiberglass product, but we actually have multiple materials that are the color pink, and we've actually trademarked the color pink. So in addition to that, you see we actually have a lot of other materials, whether that be for doors, one of our recent acquisitions, or roofing products like asphalt shingles. We also have hot rubberized asphalt. So we've got a variety of materials, but we're all committed to sustainability as one of the core parts of our company. And that's one of the reasons I was attracted to come to Owens Corning, both in our daily life and in the materials that we work with. We're just very inspired and always focused in discussing where we fit within our environment and how we can contribute. So to that end, there are, as Terry said, a lot of products that are listed. And I'm going to focus today on the Foamular product, which is the rigid foam board. But as you see here, there are several that are shaded that are already listed as well. So I'd welcome you to look at all of those. This is just looking at a residential application, but we've got just as many for commercial buildings and for OEM and industrial applications. So working on all 6 sides of the building as much as possible. It's a lot of fun. And as I alluded to, I work with primarily our insulation products. And we're going to be talking today about the second one from the left, which is our Foamular. It's an extruded polystyrene insulation, and I'm going to quickly kind of cover what that is, but wanted to let you know that we have other materials, including fiberglass, mineral wool, foam glass, which is a cellular glass material, and spray polyurethane foam insulation. Also, as far as resources go, I wanted to just quickly point out some additional resources that you might find valuable, particularly to our Foamular. You'll see a landing page for our Foamular NGX product, and I welcome you to go visit that where you can find out more information about that product. And our enclosure solutions is really addressing multiple types of insulation that can be used within the entire wall assembly or the wall enclosure. So that could be on the wall, the foundation, or the roof. And would you like to use mineral wool or XPS or fiberglass, spray foam? All of those things are an option. And you can go and get details and data sheets and guide specifications all related to a specific wall assembly that you might want to build, for example. And then last but not least, I was hoping that I would have the new image up, but the sustainability report, Cheryl tells me, is actually coming out very shortly, might actually already be out, certainly will be out by the time that this recording is posted. So please go and look for that. With all of that said, I quickly want to just jump into, a lot of times we talk about foam insulation as rigid board insulation. It's referred to generically as if it's all one product and performs all the same. So I just wanted to quickly share the information that extruded polystyrene, XPS, is different from the other two, which is EPS, expanded polystyrene insulation, and polyisocyanurate, which may be referred to as polyiso or ISO. They are manufactured differently. They undergo different processes when we talk about fire performance, and they have different environmental impact. So you're going to get different performance out of the material as a result of the materials that are going in and the efforts that are made to produce the product. This product basically takes polystyrene pellets, and we extrude it through a high pressure, in our case, a vacuum system. And our system is called the hydrovac system, where it's actually brought underwater And that produces a very consistent cellular structure so that we get the superior water resistance, the R value that we're looking for, the high compressive strength. And we'll see some examples in a minute of why that would matter and what applications that would fit into. So comparing the materials, the first one would be compared with EPS. A lot of times you'll hear that referred to as styrofoam, but that's actually not styrofoam. The brand name styrofoam belongs to one of my competitors and colleagues, DuPont, who makes a different XPS product. EPS is a polystyrene product, but it's basically fused. If you can think about bowling balls in a bathtub, so it's little fused pieces of the foam plastic itself. And as a result of that, you can see additional ability to take on more moisture and water. There's a third-party independent study that I invite you to go look at, looking at pulling up samples over the past 30 years and how much water has been absorbed into those types of insulation and how much R value is retained as a result of that. Because as you take on water, you lose the ability to provide insulation. The next one would be a polyisocyanurate material. These materials actually may start out with having what would be perceived as a higher R value. The Federal Trade Commission requires that we report that R value at a 75-degree mean temperature. But one of the things that gets brought up is that in a colder temperature, so in a colder climate when you need some of that insulation, the R value can actually begin to drop. So that's one of the reasons why XPS may be selected in some of these colder climates, because we're actually seeing actually a slighter increase in the R value of the material itself. And that can be studied if you go to another third-party resource, the Building Science Corporation, where you can see all of that information. So knowing the materials are different, we don't just call everything foam board after that, which I certainly did as a traditional architect in a traditional firm, so I can admit to that. Jumping into Foamular NGX and this special product. So we're very proud that we were the first to come out with the next generation, if you will, of extruded polystyrene insulation back in 2020. It was kind of a race to the finish line to make that happen. And we wanted to make sure that we didn't trade in the performance in all of the other categories, even though we were trying to lower the global warming potential of the material. So we still have that R5 per inch thickness. We still have the high water absorption resistance, very high compressive strength up to 100 PSI, and additional certifications. As you can see here, we've got an EPD optimization as a result of the efforts that we put in. So one of the changes that happened in 2020 with XPS insulation is that some of the older blowing agents that were used had a significant impact in global warming potential. So the blowing agent was actually changed, and in this case, we actually had a significantly lower global warming potential blowing agent previously, and then we reduced over that by 80%. So we're very proud of that, and that product was actually made standard and available throughout North America prior to it actually being a requirement, something that we wanted to do proactively as a company. Next, just talking about the materials themselves, they come in a couple of different flavors, if you will. So there is a 15 PSI, a 25 PSI, a 40 PSI, a 60 PSI, and a 100 PSI. And you may be asking yourself, why would I use one over the other? We can certainly help you with that. You can always reach out to our gettech@owenscorning.com team to help you sort through those things. But in general, the lower compressive strengths get used in traditional underslat applications, in below-grade walls, and in continuous insulation on the wall. And then when we get into the higher compressive strength materials, that's where we can really do some fun stuff with regard to plaza decks and vegetative roof assemblies. And so this example is the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, Texas. And everything you see that is not that white roof is actually a plaza. So it is over a foot of XPS insulation. Very creative design by the design team. So they had drainage in a sloped concrete deck, and then we reverse tapered that to make all of that flat. We put in another foot of insulation, and then we actually put in tapered insulation to a different concealed location of drainage so that we could have this really cool plaza feeling where you can drive semi-trucks on top of the pavers, and you've got vegetative roof assembly, and you've got full-size trees growing there. But all underneath is a whole city of, space and equipment for, hosting the rodeo, hosting George Strait, who was the first person that opened at the arena. And then fun fact, I don't know if it's necessarily fun, but it actually was the shelter-in-place location over the weekend while they had a tornado in the area. And the reason that this really has a significant impact from an environmental responsibility perspective is all of that could have been concrete. So if the design team had chosen to go complete concrete, number one, everything would have been heavier. They would have had to put in more columns and restrict the usefulness of the space underneath. But we were also reducing all of that weight. And, as a testament to that, we didn't give up performance. Even in that tornado situation, we weren't seeing those uplift issues. So really fun project, and I love working on those with teams throughout the country, and we'd love to help you on any of yours if they do happen. As a reference, I know you've seen where manufacturing happens across North America with the other companies, and that is the same with us. So I will say that we do try and cover all of the country and then Mexico and Canada. If you do have a Buy America, Build America request, please let us know, because in some areas that might actually be in conflict with what is the closest material. So there may be a little bit of conflict between Buy America, Build America, and transportation limitations and the energy used to move the material. So we want to make sure that we work that out with you and give you the product that you need, and we can certainly accommodate. And then speaking about transportation, something that we're also very proud of, in the transport of our materials, we wanted to make sure that our material was arriving in good condition. So we've come out with these shroud, pieces that can actually be reused. So it will cover a portion of the most likely to be damaged portions of a load, and then once it arrives at your site, that can also help protect the material so it's not going to waste, and it can actually be reused. You can use it again on site, or you can send it back to us. So really proud of that as just one more feature in day-to-day how we perform. And sorry, I'm just waiting. There we go. And quickly, I will go through some applications and we'll be done. So Foamular can be used in a lot of different locations, and this is where I would really just call out, it has certainly gone over Melroll in a lot of scenarios, or in blindside waterproofing. We've seen that as well. So it can be used in an underfloor slab and a slab insulation wall, or we actually have a drainage material as well, where the foam is routed to allow for drainage. That's called our InsulDrain product. And then when we get into above grade applications, we can use that insulation as the continuous insulation. We can put it in precast and tilt-up wall assemblies. We've seen it in cold storage, and also if you use the appropriate accessory materials that you're seeing here, you can actually use it as an air and weather barrier assembly. So something we're really proud of as far as the versatility and limiting additional materials and trips around the building, so trying to be as efficient as possible. And finally, when we get to roofing applications, we see a lot of low slope roofing in this particular area with this particular product, and then protected membrane roof assemblies. That would be like the Dickies Arena that you saw, or this one is actually the Douglas Monroe facility, one of the largest vegetative roofs in the country. We see it in infrastructure, so being used in Alaska for roadways there to protect the permafrost, and then even in metal roofing applications. Because of the high compressive strength material, those pieces and parts can stay in compression even in a high wind zone scenario. And then we do have products that are also used as a sheathing. So both the Foamular and the Foamular with polymer facing are also options. Just again, one more way of reducing additional materials on the site and being able to take that one insulation that you were already having to put on anyways, making it your air barrier, making it your sheathing, and everything else that you need. Some of the accessories that you might need or materials that you might also see in some of our transparency listings would be our tapes. They don't necessarily have transparency listings, but of course you're getting the air barrier system. So we've got several of those and install instructions and training to help you with that. Then we have structural insulated block, which is our foam glass. It's a specialty product. We have mineral wool, a couple of different things, whether it's a top stop that is used in a metal decking scenario to close off those little portions that get left, those little trapezoids, or whether it's thermofiber safing, which I use a lot in a lot of the fire assemblies that I'm working on with Foamular. So a lot of diversity of products, and knowing how the pieces and parts go together is something that we're really proud of. And again, just pointing back to that Enclosure Solutions website as a resource for all of our installations, but definitely go check out our foamular.com website. So anyways, I just wanted to give you one more resource, which would be our architect, engineer, consultant, contractor, and owner team. And that would be led by Drew Clausen there in the center. Each of those has a territory, and they can come and give you more information. We have presentations everywhere from sustainability and transparency to fire safety to thermal performance to moisture vapor control, anything and everything in between. And with that, I just want to thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you, Tiff, so much. I was particularly struck by the benefit of drivers not having to get on top of high loads to tuck in a tarp. That's really, if that isn't user-centered design, I don't know what is, but that was an awesome capability that you guys have developed. What I'm going to do now is just for those folks who are still hanging out, I want to show you how easy it is to add products specifically from these manufacturers to your projects and libraries in Project Builder. And I actually, to prep for this webinar, I set up a project called Tight, Dry, and Durable. And you can see I've already added several of the WR Meadows projects. It literally takes 10 seconds to set up a project. So now here I am in Project Builder, and I'm going to say add and delete products. So I'm going to go add from the transparency catalog. I can start by saying, I'm working on Division 7, which that's what we're doing. You might actually also say, I know that I want night wall system products. So you can say, show me all the brands in Division 7. There's night wall systems. I can say, I'm real interested in those products that Travis talked about today. I want to go get that ThermaZ, and I'm going to add that to my project. But also, I know that I want to add some Owens Corning products while I'm here. And I know that I want to add I want to add the Foamular product. And so I can scroll down here. I can actually say quickly, I don't want to see everything in 0720. I just want to see board insulation. And by the way, this is a very crowded category. And the fact that Owens Corning has EPDs, HPDs, declare labels, Green Guard certificates, they've got it all. So I'm going to add this Foamular NGX. So now I've added 2 products from 2 different manufacturers. You can add as many products as you like at a time. And now here in my project, that would be a collection of preferred materials that I would want to use repeatedly on commercial projects, for example. I now have made a project where people can reference these preferred materials and add them to other projects, either in whole or in part. And quickly, I can go see now in the real-time status reporting how all of these documents, how each of them contribute to impact areas in the Common Materials Framework. Night wall systems with their red list free declare label is cleaning up with 4 impact areas per document. And I can go take a quick look if I'm going to submit this project to the material pledge. I can see that in the summary report, we've got products in the insulation category that contribute to 4 impact areas. And coming are going to be all of the lead materials credits, the BPSP, the MEP, and the exterior wall literally everything outside the building envelope, as well as the low emitting. So I thank you all for hanging out all this time and listening to our presenters who really do have very cool, innovative products that they're making. They're high performing. And I want to thank all the presenters for taking the time to put those presentations together and spend with us. And I want to wish everyone have a great day. If you can answer those few questions on your way out, and again, you will get a recording and you can request the decks. Happy to follow up with those. And if anybody is also interested in talking to us about PCRs, EPDs, LCAs, activating your listing in the transparency catalog if you're a manufacturer, or giving Project Builder and Library an evaluation, we'd love to have any and all of those conversations with each of you. So thanks again and have a great day.